Now let's speak matters news and move away from what has been happening in Wasingishu. There, a 99-year-old man who's actually dated this lady for 20 years. It means that he met her while she was 20 and he was 79. And now at the age of 99, they have made it official. 20 years of dating. Okay. Now the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Chair Wafula Chebukati's tenure officially came to a close yesterday as he handed over his exit report to the president. This is after a two-term reign at the helm of the country's electoral body, where he oversaw 2 general elections, including a repeat presidential election.
After serving the country for 6 years in the electoral body, outgoing IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati on Tuesday took a bow. At the State Engagement Forum between President William Ruto and constitutional commissions and independent officers,
Your Excellency, I wish to hand you over the exit report.
Chebukati handed over his exit report to the president, signaling his official exit from the helm of the country's electoral body.
We are living in a commission that has strong structures, a strong secretariat, and we feel we have done our best for the country.
In what marked his last official speech as the chair of IEBC, Chebukati hailed the commission's performance.
We ran a free, fair, credible, transparent election 2022. And as a commission, we have put in place structures which the incoming team should build on.
Chebukati, together with Commissioners Professor Abdiguliye and Boya Molu, are exiting office after their biggest assignment of conducting the 2022 general election. The three are on record saying that they have nothing to regret in running the affairs of the electoral body during their tenure. The last election saw presidential results disputed, ending up at the Supreme Court, but the Apex Court upheld the results. President William Ruto, together with other top government officials, commended the commission's performance.
It is this uncompromising commitment to his constitutional responsibility that enabled Chebukati lead IEBC in learning effectively from the 2013-2017 elections to deliver an election that met the highest standards, and in fact, that was unstealable.
You are our heroes, and Your Excellency, I want to thank you that last Jamhuri Day, you did honor these 3 Kenyans for their service to this great country.
Singular act of sheer commitment and firmness to the rule of law and constitutionalism. Thank you. May God bless you abundantly.
Chebukati has set the bar for us, that you can actually do the right things in the face of incredible adversary and still walk tall.
The exit of the 3 commissioners leaves a gap in the commission, as 4 other commissioners, namely Juliana Cherera, Justus Nyangaya, Francis Wanderi, resigned, with Irene Masit remaining suspended after disowning the 2022 presidential results.
President William Ruto led senior government officials in heaping praise on outgoing Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairman Wafula Chebukati, who he said demonstrated courage and resisted threats and coercion to deliver a credible election in August last year. The head of state confirmed claims made by Chebukati of the existence of a plot hatched at high officers in the country to eliminate the retired chairperson of the electoral body with the view of compromising the commission or installing a compliant commissioner who would declare different results.
At a round table between President William Ruto and constitutional commissions, the head of state used outgoing IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati as the model for diligent public service.
How I wish each and every chairman, each and every commissioner and each and every holder of an independent office can stand in the manner in which Chebukati has led and his team by example.
The president led senior government officials in heaping praise on Chebukati and his two outgoing colleagues, Professor Abdiguliye and Boya Molu. He paid tribute to Chebukati for resisting what he termed as bribery and intimidation.
In the midst of this menacing storm of violent criminality, unrelenting corruption, and reckless determination to subvert the Constitution, dismantle institutions, and take our nation apart, a ray of courage and integrity was shown on us by God's grace.
President Ruto backed assertions by Chebukati about the existence of a plot to eliminate him, with the intention of throwing the tallying and announcing of presidential results into confusion.
We also know that there was a direct attempt to abduct Wafula Chebukati and murder him so that the commission would be paralyzed, or a compliant commissioner take over and subvert the people's sovereignty. It was a hard, cold, and lonely time. The threats were dire. The promised rewards very lavish, and the pressure relentless.
The head of state called on those serving in public offices to emulate Chebukati, Professor Guliye and Molu by defending the Constitution amidst coercion and threats.
In the case of the IEBC, this mechanism resolved to infiltrate the organization by introducing at its highest level 4 sleeper commissioners whose sole task was to lie in wait for the election, then spring into action and take drastic actions to subvert the will of the people.
The trio, alongside the chairman of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Eliud Wabukala, exited office on Tuesday, while Commission for Revenue Allocation Chair Janet Kiringai is expected to leave office in February.
Now that revelation by the head of state in regard to security matters around the outgoing or rather retired chairperson of IEB sent a lot of shockwaves, especially on social media, with Kenyans giving various opinions. So you can get also on our social media platform and give us your feedback in regard to what you think about that particular statement that was made by President William Ruto in regard to the safety of the chair and the revelations therein. If you followed the August polls as well as the Supreme Court, the petition and such revelations really do carry a lot of weight when it comes to matters of election. Now let's look at the health survey that indicates that the fertility rate in the country has declined to 3.4% from 3.9% in 2014. This is according to the Kenya Demographic Health Survey of 2022 that was released by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and the Ministry of Health. 42,300 households were sampled in the study, which also found out that teen pregnancies in Kenya are high in areas with low literacy levels.
The 2022 Kenya Demographic and Health Survey by Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicates that 46% of women do not wish to have more children, while 30% want more kids. 63% of women use family planning countrywide, while 98% of women across the country received antenatal care from skilled providers, with 82% giving birth at health facilities.
For those who are using the modern method, they are 57%. And those who are using traditional methods, they were 6%. But at the national level, when you combine all of them, those who are using any method, they are 63%.
Counties that had more women giving birth in the hospital include Nyeri at 99%, Nairobi 99%, Kiambu 98%, Elgeyo Marakwet 98%, Kisumu 98%, and Nyandarua 98%.
There are those who made 4 or more antenatal care visits. It was standing at 66%. And then we have those who received postnatal check during the first 2 days after birth. There was 72%.
According to the survey, which is the 7th to be conducted in Kenya, teen pregnancy stands at 15% nationally and is common where illiteracy is high. Kenya National Bureau of Statistics Managing Director McDonald Obudho said the counties that recorded the high number of teen pregnancies are Samburu at 50%, West Pokot at 36%, Marsabit 29%, Narok 28%, and Meru 24%.
For the no education people, 38% of them were pregnant. For those who had a primary level of education, 20% of them were pregnant. And the story goes on to those who have higher level of education beyond secondary. 5% of that group were pregnant.
The report further shows that nationally, 26% of women have health insurance compared to 27% of men who have health insurance. 41.5% of people in urban areas have health insurance compared to 31% in rural areas. Vaccination uptake of basic antigens among children aged 12 to 23 months countrywide is 80%, with Vihiga County leading at 96%, followed by Nyandarua at 95%, Mombasa at 93%, Murang'a 95%, and Tharaka Nithi 95%.
Just a sneak peek of what the report had, and to give you some quick facts, it's also detailed on some pervasive vices that Kenyans are engaging in, and this is in regard to, sexual partners that men or women are having, and it has categorized by counties, and Murang'a is actually leading, but in general, in as far as cheating is concerned, is that the average number of sexual partners are 2.3 among women. So a woman is likely to cheat with 2 other men who are not husbands, spouses and such, while among men it is at 7.4. So for every man there are 4 women. Well, we'll be talking about that particular report. We'll be talking about that particular report as we focus on stories that are making the headlines and looking at what we have in the dailies. Now let's go to matters education, where primary schools are approved to host junior secondary school classes say they are ready to host the learners from Monday 30th. Now, the spot check by KBC Channel 1 showed parents rushing to schools to firm up enrollment plans. As Ruth Wamboi reports, some schools have already decided on the color of uniform for the JSS students.
A day after the release of placements and reporting dates for grade 7 and KCP candidates by Education CS Ezekiel Machogu, it is a rush against time. Weeks to the enrollment of the junior secondary school learners, stakeholders do not want to gamble with the new system. With grade 7 learners being the pioneering class of the CBC system, parents, teachers and students are ready to embrace the teething problems. As we arrive at Nairobi Primary School, we find teachers and parents of the first cohort of grade 7 learners at a closed-door meeting.
Then we had the meeting once again, the parent this morning, to give the feedback of the information we have been gathering from the ministry in terms of the uniform we are worried of, their classes, psychological preparedness. There could be the sub-psychologists who will take a step and call these learners come to school. They be talked to. We do for experts who are good at guidance and counseling, who to come through the process. In other words, orientation, what it means to go to junior secondary.
The JSS learners' uniform will have a different color from the existing color in the schools they are domiciled.
Well, I think in terms of psychological preparedness, uniform is part of it. You feel you have transitioned. You may still be in the same compound, the same environment, but the uniform helps you feel you've transitioned. When you look at your classmates in a different uniform, you feel you're a different group.
Proponents of the CBC saying it is best as it focuses on the learners' abilities rather than competition.
There are no changes because the government has spoken that there will be no school fees for junior high, junior secondary, but we have to incur the cost of changing the uniform, which we feel like it's something as parents we are ready to take up.
What you can do and you do it well, you should be able to excel and be confident about your skills, even if someone else's skills are different. 844, it was always, are you a lawyer, a doctor, engineer? You know, that's what people tend to focus on. But CBC, if you're good at skills like art, painting is how, learn how to paint well, create value from that.
Delighted grade 7 learners eagerly waiting to see what the new system has in store for them.
Expectations are for us to have that perfect balance of primary and junior and secondary school. So, we won't have so much of secondary school and so much of primary. It's just going to be a perfect balance.
I thought that we were going to go to another junior secondary school in another place. But then now the government had said that we stay here and do our junior secondary here. So that made me feel happy that I would stay with my friends.
And the subjects that the grade 7 students will learn include mathematics, languages, science, technical and humanities, which have been broadened.
We are all going to be here come Monday 30th, God willing, to just look at what is going to happen transiting there, even the children there giving their merits and the demerits of the CBC. On that matter, we take a quick breather. We'll be right back. Good morning. This is In the Headlines, and I'm Regina Manyara. Now, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza on Tuesday made her first public appearance since her failed impeachment. Mwangaza came out to launch a clean-up project within Meru town, promising residents that her government will ensure that all roads in the town were repaired.
Weeks after surviving an impeachment motion at the Senate, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza is back to work. The governor leading a cleanup exercise in the town.
Every part of this town ambayo iko na mashimo tunataka kuziba, tuweke covers ama slabs ambazo si za chuma, ambazo zimepimwa vizuri zikaonekana zinaweza kushikilia hata mitemba mikubwa.
The governor assuring residents that her government will ensure all potholes are filled and all clogged drainage systems are unblocked. Mwangaza said she will continue working for Meru residents regardless of the threats she has undergone of removing her from office.
Ni kazi yetu kama serikali ya kaunti ya Meru kuhakikisha ya kwamba Meru is happy. Tuko kazi na nitahakikisha ya kwamba hakuna maendeleo kwa makaratasi. Maendeleo ni kwa ground. Maendeleo ni kwa ground. Kama watanichukia kwa sababu ya kutembea kusupervise kazi ambayo ni kazi yangu, waendelee, lakini lazima kazi ifanyike.
Governor Mwangaza was impeached by members of the County Assembly of Meru who accused her of abuse of office, nepotism and gross misconduct. She was vindicated by the Senate, which said the Meru County Assembly failed to substantiate the claims.
I know a majority of you have been peeping at that story to try and see if the first man of Meru County was gracing this particular event, the first come out of Kawira Mwangaza after her failed impeachment there, saved by the Senate, and clearly he was not present. Maybe this is a sign that things are going to be changing in as far as, you know, Kawira Mwangaza's development activities, where, you know, the husband will take a back seat. It was quite controversial that also his present, that is the first man by issue there, was one of the issues that was brought up by the MCAs.